What is up? What is up? What is up? We're gonna mute everybody right now. Craig, how are you doing? Sharon, how you doing? Whoever else popped in here, owner of iPhone, owners of iPhone, how are you doing? What's going on? Oh, they left. That sucks. Owners of iPhone left us. How's everybody doing this fine Sunday? Appreciate you guys getting on here. We're going to be getting started right here at 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock now. People will be popping on here shortly. Listen, this is what I want to do. I want to first let you guys know, number one, I appreciate you guys being on here as always. Thank you so much for taking the time out to learn this, to come on here and really just utilize these skills. But I want you guys to get ready to maybe grab pen and pad, get ready to take some notes. If you're driving, please don't do that. Okay, don't take notes. That's not good in driving. But if you can, take notes because we have a special guest on, and this guy's going to definitely drop some gems for you guys. And but if you don't take notes, I guarantee you within about a week or 2 weeks, you're going to forget it. So take notes, be able to refer back to these notes so you can utilize this stuff because it does you no good. They say knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power, but that's only half of the equation. It's the utilization of the knowledge, or when to utilize it, and knowing when to use it and when not to use it. It's actually wisdom, right? Wisdom is power because wisdom is using or not using what you know upstairs, right? So we want to make sure that we don't just get this knowledge and it's just useful. We just put it on our bookshelf and we never go back and actually apply any action to it. Robin, how are you doing? Mike, how are you doing? See what else popped on. Duke, my man Duke, he's always on here. What's up, brother? So what we're going to be talking about today is the life and blood of Ron, how are you? Life and blood of every single business. Every single business. This is what we need. And no matter if you're doing wholesaling, no matter if you're doing Airbnbs, no matter if you're doing rentals, no matter if you're doing if you're selling pencils, I don't care what it is. This is the life and blood of business. If we don't have this thing, if we're not good at this, you're just not going to be in business for long. So what I wanted to do, instead of me just always talking about stuff on my own, what I like to do is I got some pretty cool friends. You know, I got some pretty cool friends, and so I like to bring some friends on that can essentially just, you know, help out with coaching things, like the things that they're specifically very, very good at. And so I wanted to bring a friend of mine on. This guy, just like most of us here, we're all entrepreneurs. He's been an entrepreneur, a self-paid entrepreneur, meaning that he's the only one that he goes to for a paycheck. If he's not getting paid, he has to look himself in the mirror and say, why you ain't doing no work? Right? So he's been doing that, like that level of entrepreneurship since 2008. So like 11 years, he's been on his own. So longer than I have. I've been on my own since 2011, 2012 timeframe. So he's been doing this on his own with no one else helping him out. No one else, you know, signing his paycheck since 2008. And he's been able to do it very, very well. He does training all across the world, here in the United States, and he actually goes overseas. People pay him, believe it or not. People pay him to go overseas to teach them this skill. And so the skill that we all need to know, the life and blood of any business is sales. Now, on our end, a lot of times we're talking with sellers, people who have houses that would like to get under contract. So you're saying, well, how does that really equal sales? Really, they need to sell me on why I should get that house. Well, it's really you want to be able to sell yourself, right? You want to be able to sell yourself. People do business with people they like, know, and trust. And if you can't sell that to a complete stranger, then you're going to have a tough time getting some contracts signed. All right. And then on the other side, we have to present our deals to buyers. We don't really need to sell them at that point, but cultivating a relationship is sales. So I wanted to bring him on to talk specifically about those things. And man, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to say. So I want to bring him on. Number one, like I said, this guy is doing sales training across the country, and it's flown out to Europe. He gets flued out to Europe I don't know if you guys ever seen that meme. It was funny, but if you ain't seen it, you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't really talk like that. But he gets flued out to Europe and all across the world doing sales training. So without further ado, I'd like to bring my man on, James Penn. What's up, James? There you go.
What's up? I'm unmuted.
Yeah, you're good now, man.
Yeah, happiness. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Happiness. And evidently, the amount of participants you got here at E2E, man, is popping. I see we got dozens of folks on. Y'all are very fortunate to be a part of this group and be in this place too, man. So thanks for having me on, Tommy.
Oh, man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to do it, man. I know I was just on the phone with you not too long ago. You were just getting out the gym, putting that work in.
Sweat equity. That's sweat equity, baby.
Yeah, man, you're trying to get that wintertime fine. Everybody talk about summertime fine. All the summer bodies are made in the winter. Maybe
that's right. That's right. That's right. And the champions in wholesaling are made on this call right here too. So it's not just when you're out there in the field, right? It's the practice time, right? That's where it really counts, man. So yeah, I'm ready to jump right into it. So if you're ready for me to rock and roll.
Say no more, my man. Say no more. Go ahead. You got it.
So let me ask you this real quick, Tommy. Do people have control to unmute themselves or anything of that nature? I kind of want to have this a little interactive, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's a weird phenomenon. Some people do. I guess it depends on if they have the app downloaded or if they're on their phone or not. I still don't understand 100%. Some people have the ability to unmute themselves, and some people I have to unmute them, or some people I just can't even unmute. So
okay. All right. Well, we'll do a good deal of the interactions just through the chat, but I want to first start off and say this course is something that I've studied, I've gone through, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm not saying that just because Tommy has me on here. Tommy, maybe you've been in a situation before. I've been in scenarios where people have brought me in to train. Maybe I got flued out or something, and they want me to speak to their organization, and they want me to talk on sales or maybe marketing or something along those lines. And everything that organization does, I disagree with like all of their philosophy. And it puts you in a little bit of a weird scenario because I want to be gracious and not come in and just disrespect, what they're doing. Yeah. But if I'm going to, really bring the value that I can, I have to go against the grain of everything they're doing. That's not the case here, right? That's not the case here. This course, Tommy, you made it really easy for me. You kind of set the table for me where really what I'm going to do is kind of just connect the dots on things that are already in the course and bring some of that out a little bit more. But I just want to let you all know that this course is an absolute steal. So shouts out to you, Tommy, man, for putting that together. But before I kind of get real deep into getting rolling, I want to kind of get some expectations, because I always find that you get more value out of something when you go into it with an expectation. So over the course of, I know we're not going to be here long. I think it's like 4 or 5 hours or something like that. Over the course of the next 4 or 5 hours. Now, over the course of the next few minutes that we're going to spend here together, this is where I want some people to unmute themselves and let me know, what are you expecting to get out of the course of the next, 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes or so that we're going to be here together. What are you all expecting to get from the time we spend here together?
Well, I definitely want to learn. I definitely will be hungry. I definitely would like to just enhance my knowledge of how to maybe pick up what type of personalities, what type of people I'm dealing with, so I can relate to them a little more.
Okay.
That's me. I don't know if anybody's putting stuff in the chat. I can open up the chat real quick. Let me see if anybody's. Guys, go ahead and put your stuff in the chat. So if you can, or just take yourself off mute.
So I got one. So I'd like to know more about dealing with some of the objections we run into. Outside of the normal 6, I run into quite a few odd ones. So I'd like to know about objections myself.
Okay, overcoming objections. Good. What else?
Somebody else, you're gonna need to take yourself off mute.
Like Stan trying to come off.
I think Stan trying to do something here. Let me see if I can help you, Stan. There you go. Oh, hold up. I had you. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the same thing is objections and talking to FISBO people and actually setting up the appointment and them not flaking on you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's what happened to
All
me this
right.
weekend. I had set up some appointments and they kind of flaked off.
You just
Okay.
got to start bringing a gun first. Stop doing that.
Tommy, man, we shoot content, not people.
Oh,
Hey, what
okay.
Dave told you. All right, maybe let's get one more. Let's get one more. Let's get one more, either in the chat or I like what we got so far.
Somebody else hop on here.
Anybody else? Look like Craig might be typing.
Yeah, I like to. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I've been kind of doing a little bit of studying this week on sales. Actually, that's what I started spending time on. And I was watching The Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, and just talking about how to close. And it's one thing to talk to people about the property, but you got that one aspect that says you want motivated sellers, and then the other aspect you have to sell them that it's going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times our people are not really, they're not really always willing to go that next step. So when to be silent and when to interject a little bit. I kind of want to learn a little bit about that.
Great. I'm glad you referenced Jordan Belfort because I studied Jordan Belfort, and some of the things that I'm going to talk about, particularly when we get to the closing side of things, I'll be referencing some of his training from Straight Line Persuasion. I don't know if anybody has gone through that, but Tommy, have you been through Straight Line Persuasion?
I haven't.
The Straight Line system is phenomenal. So what I'm hearing is on that closing, Tommy connected with people a little bit more. Ali is talking about overcoming objections, how to make sure people don't flake on the appointment. We'll cover all of that and more. Okay, and it's a tall task, and you might not can tell on camera, but I'm a short guy, so I definitely got my work cut out for me here. But while we're doing this interactive team, let's keep that going, and we'll do it in the chat. Okay, so you don't have to come off mute. I need everybody to respond with this one so I can get a gauge and get a feel. How many of you all are averse to selling? You feel like, I'm not a good salesman. I don't like sales. If that's you, put a 1 in the chat. And then if you like, I like sales. I feel like I'm a natural born salesman. I'm all about it. Put a 2 in the chat. I need a 1 and a 2 from everybody on here, just so I can get a gauge from. Okay, we got a good amount of 2s on here, which makes sense in the real estate wholesaling arena. Okay, we got some 1s, like a almost about an even mix, maybe a few more 2s, but considerable amount of 1s. Let me see. Somebody's never done sales but not afraid. Okay, all right. And then never really done sales too, if I believe in what I'm selling. Okay, I like it. And then one more thing, if you feel like sales is, there are people who are natural salesmen, and that's what it takes to really be good at sales. Let me hear from you in the chat. All right, owner said, I just need help. Okay, I'm here to help you. Put a 3 in the chat if you feel like sales is something that certain people are born with, and that's what it takes if you're gonna be a great salesperson. All right, nope, it's a skill. It certainly is a skill. Now, with that being said, some people do have a predisposition in terms of their temperament, in terms of their personality type, that gives them a better foundation to be a better salesperson more naturally. But we all have heard this before: hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So a predisposition isn't predetermination. Predisposition isn't predetermination. You might want to write that down. It's not necessarily about sales, but this will help you everywhere in life, because so often we feel like we're predisposed to. You hear people, when they talk about their health, maybe, high blood pressure runs my family. My mom, my grandmother, all of them, everybody had high blood pressure. They all, had diabetes. I'm just predestined to have it. No, you might have a predisposition. That means you have to pay a little bit more attention to it, have to work a little bit harder when it comes to your nutrition and your metabolism and your health, but that doesn't mean you're predetermined to have that outcome. So just because you don't have the type of temperament that is naturally inclined to be a strong salesperson doesn't mean that you can't increase those sales skills to a very, very proficient level. You just may have to work a little bit harder and put in a little bit more effort. But I have some very, very, very good news for everyone here when it comes to sales. Okay, particularly those who put one in the chat. When it comes to sales and marketing, it's all about psychology. It's all about psychology, and psychology is one of those ologies, right? We have biology, geology, psychology, and what are ologies? They're sciences. Science. There is a science to selling. That's good news. That's good news. And there is an artistry level, you know, that some people can just get to that's just on, you know, next level. But for the most part, it's a science. And see, when it comes to art, I think that's more one of those things that either you got or you don't. Like I could go into voice training and try to increase my ability to sing, but that's not my ministry.
Don't do that, James. Don't do that. Just
right. That's not my ministry. And I could practice because it's just an art to that. You know, I could take some art classes and try to learn how to paint, but I'm not going to do the Van Gogh or Picasso. Like, that's not my ministry. When it comes to something that's more scientific, like sales is scientific, it's just a skill. And so because of psychology is understanding basic human behavior. There are certain things that drive humans. If you start understanding the science, you ever been around somebody you can't just help but to like them? They have charisma, it's magnetic. There are certain things that you can do to evoke that and engender that response in other people that is scientific. They can't help it. It's almost like it's almost unfair when you start to become a master at this. And every encounter that you go into should not be fair. Every time you pick up the phone and call, you're doing your skip tracing and you call someone, you get a seller on the phone. Every time that you have this encounter, it shouldn't be fair. Why? Because to them, this is a random phone call. It's a random encounter. You're the professional. You do this all day, every day. You do this all day, every day. It's a script. When you watch your favorite actors, I love watching Denzel. He makes me believe he's the character that I'm watching. I forget, about Denzel. I start to believe the character. It's a script he's doing it. He's just gone over the script so many times, it just feels natural, like he's doing it. So you're dealing with a script that you've gone over and over again, but to them, it's just a random encounter. It should not be fair, okay? So that's good news for everybody here. Is that good news? Type yes in the chat if you agree, right? What my man John Gruden say, knock on wood if you're with me. I don't know if I'm always watching Hard Knocks. Knock on wood if you're with me. Yes, all right. So knock on wood if you're with me. How many of you all have watched have already gone through the course and watched the module on setting the appointment? How many of you have watched it? Put watch in the chat, or how many of you have studied it? Put study in the chat. Watch or study. I want to know. And be honest. If you've been through it one time, you haven't studied it. If you've been through it twice, you haven't studied it. If you've been through it 3 times, you haven't studied it. How many have watched it? How many have studied it? Watch. I appreciate the honesty. Right? Here's one of the things that I recommend to you is you have to study this thing. You have to study it if you're just now getting started at this. I would study it several times before I do the first call. I know you all have done role playing. If you've been around here for any amount of time, do your role playing, and I would watch it again before every time I start to make calls. Anytime, and I've been in sales in a multitude of industry. I've created millions of sales in banking, in the mortgage industry, in the skincare industry, nutraceuticals, in the travel industry, because sales is sales. It doesn't matter the industry. I've done millions of sales in a multitude of industries. And every time I enter into a new industry, I get a script. And I read the script. As someone who's seasoned in sales and has documented results, I still go by a script in the beginning. It doesn't take me long to get away from the script because of the skill set that I've built up over time, but I start with a script. So first things first is you have to study the script, okay? Don't just watch it, but you need to study it. Now, what I want to do here at this point going forward is I'm going to connect the dots and help you understand what you're doing. I'm going to connect the dots to help you understand what you're doing. Has anybody ever, you've done something and been successful at it, but it was harder to duplicate that, right? Has that ever happened with anybody before? Yep. Or maybe there's like a certain, you ever heard somebody when referring to somebody else's cooking, like maybe at a cafeteria or some place you go to eat, be like, oh man, it was good today. Like what you mean today? Like it should be good every time, right? Like, oh man, they did it, or you go to a certain, sermon or something. Oh, pastor preached today, like you don't like every week it's not, good. What's the difference between an amateur and a professional, right? Like I can hit a 3-point shot. I just don't hit them as consistently as Steph Curry. I mean, you give me enough of them, one of them go like, I will build you a house too. Like I will put some bricks up, but give me enough goals at it. I'm a wrestler, by the way, if y'all don't know. I think my excuse, Tommy, is I think it's a prerequisite that if you're going to be a good wrestler, you have to suck at basketball. That's what I'm sticking with, right? Yeah. So, okay. Yeah.
You're the guest speaker, so I'm gonna leave that one alone.
But it's consistency. Watch this. An amateur does it till they get it right. A professional does it till they can't get it wrong. So you're studying the course. That's why I asked how many of you have gone through the training, not 2 times, not 3 times, but over and over and over again, because you go through it and you say, I got it. And then you role play the script and then you did it once and it felt good. You're like, cool, I'm good. No, you did it till you got it right. A professional does it till they cannot get it wrong. And so you got to get that muscle memory up to the point where you can't get it wrong, because again, this is a science. So I'm just going to start with the thing that's going to help you be able to do it over and over repetitively and get it right every single time is to understand what you're doing. Some people do something, they shoot the shot and it went in, but they really don't understand all of the mechanics that went into the flip of the wrist, or the elevation they had on the jump, how their elbows came up, and they would you did it, but you didn't really understand it. So I'm just going to go through and kind of connect the dots on things, and I'm gonna focus in 2 main areas. We'll talk about rapport and we'll talk about closing. Okay, we'll talk about rapport, we'll talk about closing. So let me start off here. Let me start off with rapport. And I'm a word guy. I looked up the etymology. I'd never done this before. The etymology of rapport, and it's to reference. It comes from reference, relation, or relationship. Reference, relationship, and we get that, right? You're trying to build rapport, you're looking to build a relationship, but that goes back further to rapporter, not like reporter, but it's still spelled like rapport. Reporter, bring back or refer. It's like bring back or refer, and I think of like a reporter reporting back, like bringing information, bring back, which that goes back to the term to bring. So rapport, the etymology, if you trace it all the way back to the origin of the word, it's to bring. And so you have to bring something to the table. When you bring something, it builds rapport. Remember I start talking about psychology and science, and if you start to get this, it's a science and people can't help but react a certain way. When you bring something to someone, there's a reaction. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. If you add value to someone, they cannot help but like you. You ever met your favorite celebrity in person? You see them at the airport, or you go to the event, and they have added value to your life. Maybe they've entertained you with their comedy or with their music, or some of their stuff has helped you through a tough time, just to be able to listen to their music or whatever the case may be. And instantly you have physiological responses. Your body is actually reacting in a certain way. If I met you as a complete stranger, and we were at an intersection at a corner, you weren't paying attention, you're on your phone, you're texting, you're talking, and you step out in an intersection and a bus is coming, and I grab you and save your life. I added value to you. I brought something to the table. I added value to your life by extending your life. You instantly cannot help but like me more, right? So this is what rapport all comes down to, is bringing something. So you need to enter into the encounter saying, look, I'm looking to bring something. And you can't bring something if you don't have something. That's why you need to build yourself up in these calls. Is why you need to build yourself up in studying this. Because what is it that you're bringing to the table? Somebody answer this for me. What are you bringing to the table? With a chat or unmute yourself. I want you to tell me, what are you bringing? Because this is what rapport is.
Bringing a solution to a problem that they can't fix on their own.
Bringing a solution to the problem. Relief of an issue. Ooh, relief. I like it. I like it, Carla. I like it. A solution to a vexation. Man, you got some smart folks.
I'm just talking normal. Apparently, y'all trying to show out.
You didn't tell me you had the honors class. Now I'm nervous. Now I'm nervous, right?
Let me Crowder, whatever they are.
Right. And all of this is summed up in this. This is what you're bringing to the table. You're bringing expertise. because to solve that problem, to solve that vexation, right, to relieve that issue, you have to have something they don't have, and you do. It's an expertise. You have a bit of knowledge about the wholesale, the real estate arena that they do not have. And so, when you're bringing that to the table and they don't have it, then you pay for that. Listen, I know some people think it's like a masculine thing to be able to work on your own car. I don't know how to work on a car. I don't know how to change. I put gas in. I can't change a tire. If I was on the side of the road, I could. But like outside of that, I'm not changing no oil. I'm gonna change my own oil, right? Tommy he seemed like one of those type, right?
Nah, bro. Nah, man. No, not straight to Walmart.
Sure, right? You know what I'm saying? Like Jiffy Lube, whatever the dealership, somebody else is doing it, but I have to pay for that. And some men are like, "Oh, you could do it yourself, man." It's easy, but I don't have that knowledge. So guess what I have to do? Like they get to save money there. I spend the money. So they have to spend the money because they don't have. They're going to lose out on some of the money because they don't have the knowledge. And you're bringing that, but you're still offering a solution, a relief to that vexation. So you have to be confident and able to in that encounter when you bring that to them. Speaking of confidence, posture is an important part of selling and building rapport. One of the things that you're going to bring to the table is confidence. You're going to bring confidence to the table. And some of y'all think, well, confidence is something that I have. Like, what is what is that offering them? Confidence isn't just something you have. Confidence is also something you give. When somebody confides in you, right? Confidence and confide, these words are connected here. So the confidence that I'm even exuding right now as I'm doing this training is evoking a response out of some of you all right now. Some of you all at the beginning, maybe you had your guard up. Is this guy really know what he's talking about? But those walls are starting to come down. They're coming down even more. Like some of you might try to resist me, but you can't because it just makes too much sense. And you can't help but like me now because I'm adding value, right? And so you are bringing confidence to them. You're helping them confide that you have the solution to their problem. And so that's going to help in the posture. And so the posture is going to help the rapport. And all of this is important because it's ultimately going to help them with that vexation and that issue. Is this making sense? Is everybody's tracking with me so far? Y'all picking out what I'm picking up? Carla, I like you too, Carla.
I'm using vexation somehow today in normal conversation. I just
listen. That's my word for the week.
That's gonna be the word of the day.
That's my challenge. That's my challenge for the week. Is I will use vexation every single day in a week, and it will be in a conversation with someone else. So there it is. So all right, Courtney's tracking with me. Good stuff. So in building rapport, we understand that we have to bring something. And one of the things we're going to bring confidence. We're bringing our expertise. We're bringing the ability to have a solution to the problem that they don't know how to solve because we have information that they don't have. Okay. So in doing this, I love the script on setting the appointment. I love the script on setting the appointment. It really is gold, ladies and gentlemen. Again, all I'm doing is bringing out some things that are already in there, but I want to know, do we have a brave soul here on the call that would mind coming off mute and doing that and going through the script?
Calling somebody out. Who out there? Who else here? Hey, crickets, straight crickets.
I'll do it, Tommy.
Okay. I was about to start calling. Shalon was about to get it. I was about to call her out.
Okay.
I got a bad signal, so I don't want to lose you. So hold on.
Oh, that's a dope excuse. All right.
You ready, Cleon?
I'm driving.
Hey,
hold on.
Don't worry about looking, bro. Don't worry about looking. You just talk. We don't need no problems. You ready to go?
Ring, ring.
Okay. All right. My name is James. All right. Hello.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, James. How you doing today?
I'm all right. Who's this?
Hey, my name's Cleon. I'm actually a local investor. I passed by a property that I believe is yours. I passed by it just the other day. I'm actually really interested in this property. What did you have planned to do with that property?
Well, first off, you said Cleon. How'd you get my number?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a property on First Street. I happened to look it up, and it was in public information. I hope it's all right that I'm calling you.
I mean, it's kind of
I
weird.
don't want to
I mean,
disturb you. I'm sorry. I didn't want to waste your time. I apologize about that if I am. But I just
well,
passed
I mean,
by.
what do you want? What do you mean interested in, like you looking into my information and stuff? Like,
No. So I'm a local real estate investor,
okay.
and I happen to see this property, and I think it would be something that would work perfectly for me and my investors' portfolio. I see their property. It's something I'm really interested in. It's kind of what we like to go for and what fits our portfolio.
I mean, that's sound good for you, but I mean, what they got to do with me?
Well, that's why I was calling. Are you selling the property?
I mean, no, it's not up for sale. I mean, you didn't see a for sale sign, did you?
No, absolutely not. But it didn't look like anyone was there, and I wasn't sure how long it's been in that state. I like it. I'm gonna be honest with you, James. I like it. You know what I mean?
What made me an offer then?
Well, listen. Let me talk to my investors.
All right, let me jump in, Clay. Hey, appreciate you jumping out there. All right, so let me help you out. Here's the beautiful thing again about the script, right? Is all of these things about building rapport, and even as we talk about closing, it's in the script. I'm gonna start bringing some more of this out to help you understand it, but you have to stick with it and follow it. So, objections. Ollie, that was one of the things that Ollie wanted to know about, was handling objections. The best way to handle objections is to handle them before they come up. And that's built into the course. It's built into the script already if you stick with it. So, and coming on right out of the bat and answering those questions that you know are going to be asked. Who are you? How did you get my information? What do you want? What does it have to do, with me? Answering those questions, that's all in the script. And so when you get off script, what happens is you're even wondering what's going to come out of your mouth next. Every encounter is an adventure in words. You're like, yo, what am I going to say next, right? And remember, your advantage is this is a random encounter for them. I'm the professional. I do this all day, every day. So don't give up your advantage, because I know that like the Bad Boys 3 trailer just came out. And I'm like, yo, I've seen this movie. It was called Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 3 look just like Bad Boys 1, Bad Boys 2. Right? I'm like, yo, they recycling and selling us the same movie. Now, don't get twisted. I'm going to still go see it. But if you look at it, it's the same freaking movie. So when I get on the call, right, there really aren't a whole lot of different objections. They manifest themselves in an infinite amount of ways. But there are very, very few objections. And all objections come down to one thing: belief. They all come down to one thing: belief. They don't believe that you can help them. They don't believe that you have a solution to their issue. It's just a lack of belief. So if that's the case, and I boil it down and make it simple into one thing, it makes it simple for me to know my job is just to raise their belief. And I come in raising their belief by bringing that confidence, by being an expert, and by sticking to the script. So when we want to come and build rapport, the beautiful part about the script is we come in and you are positioned as an expert. Write this down. Rapport equals positioning yourself as an expert. So in the sales training, in the script, setting the appointment script, Tommy talks about coming in and getting straight to business right off the bat. And then there'll be a certain break in the conversation where you go off and you talk about something that's not so directly related. And this is the rapport, quote unquote, building part of the call. Is everybody familiar with what I'm talking about here? So it's the business, and then we build a little bit of rapport, right? Everybody remember this? Well, here's the secret. I'm not sure, maybe Tommy, understood this and knew this, but I want to really point it out for you all. That whole process is actually building rapport, even the business part up front. Because going back to confidence and exuding that to someone, rapport is about positioning yourself as an expert when we're talking about sales. When we're talking about sales, rapport is about positioning yourself as an expert. So we have to understand, when I talk about closing, we have to understand that people buy based off of emotion and they back it up with logic. You need both, though. You need logic and emotion to close a sale. You need logic and emotion to close a sale. And the first part, when we're talking business, is going to help their logic. And this helps build rapport as well. one of the worst things you could do when you're looking to build rapport as a salesperson is we've all heard, hey, talk about their favorite subject, which is them. And so, you come into a sales meeting and you see they got a picture on their desk, of their son playing basketball, and you proceed to talk about their son playing basketball for the next half hour. And they like it because it makes them feel good because they're talking about them and their family and their son or whatever the case is. It's something they're interested in, but you are subconsciously positioning yourself in their mind as this person is not a professional. Even if they don't consciously understand this, they know because you're talking about them and their favorite subject, but not in a way that is pushing us toward the ultimate end goal of solving the problem that I have. So in building rapport and talking about them and talking about their favorite subject, which is them, it's always best to do that in a way that is still related, semi-related in some fashion toward the end goal that we're looking to do. Because what this does is, again, psychologically and subconsciously, this positions you in an arena of an expert. Some of us have encountered salespeople that were really likable people, but we couldn't quite put our finger on it. We still just didn't want to buy from them, right? It's like, yeah, I like this person. They're real likable. They're the nice guy. Yeah, right? Nice guys finish last. Like women in dating. The guy that's just nice, right?
But the ugly.
He got no sales ability, right? Because he's just being nice.
He got a nice personality.
He got a nice personality, right? But he don't never close the deal. I'm gonna keep it there. I'm gonna keep it there. He's a nice guy, but he never closes the deal. Why? Because he's just being nice and doesn't have the confidence to do it around the arena of what is progressing us toward the ultimate, vexation that's in our life right now. And so if you're going, off and just talking about them in something that's totally, completely foreign and unrelated for too much, and I'm not saying, don't mistake general teacher for specific counsel. Yes, you can go off the path and talk about something that's unrelated, but don't spend a half hour on the phone, talking about, their fish stories. It has nothing to do with where we're getting to. So if I can ask questions that are rapport building questions, but they're still semi-related, so for instance, as you start talking about repairs, if they knew the repairs right out, well, actually, yeah, I was looking at, the bathroom needs some work because I actually was looking at doing something. Oh, so you do a little handyman work yourself? Well, I mean, not really, but I do. You know what, man? I'm always impressed with that because when it comes to handiwork, that is not my lane at all. How'd you get it? And if I'm talking rapport and going off script in that arena, it's still semi-related and I'm complimenting them. And we all also know when we get to in-face negotiation, that's an arena where I say, hey, well, listen, I'm not swinging hammers. I'm gonna have to get, licensed, certified contractors come in. We know that's a part as well. So that would be a great arena if it presented itself to start using to build rapport, but it's still related. Is this making sense? That I want to build rapport by talking about them, but as best I can, talk about them in a fashion that's still positioning me as an expert because I'm showing them that, hey, I can move you towards solving your problem, right? That's going to build the most rapport with them, not just being likable. Make sense? Right? How to build rapport with someone who lost a loved one and the home is in probate. And this is one that we all can relate to. We've all lost someone. And so this is just the human element. And this is still talking about moving toward the solution. So you still can position yourself as an expert because talking about the loss and the challenges that they're dealing with at the time, and then tying that in very gently into solving the problem of, at a burden of what it could be like, why you're trying to mourn and go through that process, to have business that still has to get done. And I've helped homeowners or me and my team. So your team might be people in this call, right? If you're just getting started, me and my, my team, we understand that. And it's challenging to be in that situation where you're dealing with a tough loss of someone and they're you're looking to mourn, simultaneously there is still business, there's still taxes on the property and it still has all of those different things. And so it's an unfortunate situation, but the good thing is me and my team, we have been able to help people solve those type of issues. And that way, they can focus on things that really matter, right? So I'm building rapport. See, I still position myself as an expert in an arena, right? So, you guys could, give examples. I'm not going to stop and go through all of them because I do want to get to closing before I open it up for Q&A. But you all understand here, the punchline I'm getting to it here is in building rapport, don't think it's just randomly talking about, the weather for 15, 20 minutes. The storms came through and you talk, now if it was related to the home, the storms came through and it's related to the home, talk about that at length, right? But don't just talk about fish stories for a half hour on the phone, all right? Let's see, anything else I got here on rapport? I'm looking at my notes. All right, so now let's get to closing. First off, did that help anybody on building rapport? As we talked about that rapport, did that help anybody? Yeah, type in the chat. Yes for me if it helped. I just want to make sure. Clap. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's talk about closing now. Let's talk about closing. And this is like Jordan Belfort, straight line persuasion. Some people can't close the window. All right. You can't close the door. But after you get finished, listen to the rest of this. You will be a professional closer. And actually, I want to change the word from closing to collecting decisions. You're going to be a professional decision collector, because really, I'm just looking to the worst place to be if I'm in anything sales related is in a maybe.
Yeah.
No is fine. If it ain't a deal, it ain't a deal. Right? Tommy will be the first one to tell you that. If we can't make a deal happen, we can't make a deal happen. If it's not a deal, it's not a deal. Cool. But tell me yes or tell me no, but tell me quick because I gotta go. The worst place to be is with a fence sitter, and you can't get them off the fence. So if I have somebody, my job is simply to sort them that this is a deal that's makeable, yes, or it's not, no. And I want to get to that decision as quickly as possible. And watch this, it's the decision that's best for them. I'm emotionally detached to the outcome because I understand it's just a law of averages. And if I'm doing this the right way, the numbers are going to be in my favor. Even if those numbers are 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. If you bat 300 in Major League Baseball, you're a Hall of Famer. That means 7 out of 10 times you are out, right? 3 out of 10 deals, of everybody that you're getting on the phone with, or whatever, you would be okay. 2 out of 10 would be okay. So how do we get to that point where we can collect decisions and convert at a higher ratio? Again, like I talked about expectations on the front end, come into this call with some expectations of what you want to get out, you probably get more out of it. If you go into the encounter knowing what needs to be accomplished before you go into the encounter, you have a higher probability of making it happen. You have a higher probability of making it happen. So I know going to every encounter to close, I know what I need to do. And that is, I need to collect 3 10s. 3 10s. And this is straight from Jordan Belfort, straight line persuasion. And guess what? As I really analyze and think about this in the wholesaling arena, it's not even really 3 10s, it's 2 10s. So you only got to get 2 10s. But I'm going to give you 3 just for the general principle of sales, and you know it, and you can apply it to other arenas, right? So 3 10s, or in your case, again, 2 10s. What are these 10s? On a scale of 1 to 10, you need to get this person to a place where they love the offer, all right? Or it's said in straight line, like they love the product or service. And your product or service in this situation is the offer, where they love the offer. And this is both logically and emotionally, all right? Because understand that people make decisions based off emotion, and then they back it up with logic. They make decisions based off emotion, they back it up with logic. I mean, anybody here, probably you wouldn't say it now because I just said, people make decisions based off emotion. But I know some people out there think, well, I'm logical. I just make decisions based off logic. No, you don't. Shut up, you liar. Have you ever kissed anyone? All right? You ever kissed anyone?
Nope. Virgin.
Nope. Don't stop it. Stop your lies, you silly man. Right? There is no logical reason whatsoever to kiss, like to put your tongue in another human being's mouth. There's no logical reason to do that whatsoever. None, right? Mola know I'm telling the truth, right? So why do we do it? Because it feels right. It just feels right. So emotions, you've been in a situation where you're going to buy the car and you said, well, I need to stay under this gas mileage, or I need to stay under this price point on my monthly payment. And then you see one that you like, that you want, and you know what? You start justifying. Well, you know what? I know it's like $25 over what I said I wanted to pay a month, but the gas mileage is like, I'm gonna save on the gas mileage. This is probably gonna save me like $10 a week in gas. That's $40 a month. So when you really look at it, I'm like saving $15. You know, right? You emotionally fell in love with the car, and then you use logic to back up why you were going to make that purchase.
Yeah.
So what this means is they have to, you know, finding out what they're going to do with the money, which is a part that's already lined out here in the script. I'm just helping you understand it, help you understand the mechanics of why this shot went in, because an amateur does it till they get it right, a professional does it till they can't get it wrong, and you won't get it wrong if you're not just doing it and every now and then it goes in, but I understand the mechanics of what I'm doing. The reason why finding out what they're doing with the money is so important, because they can get an emotional attachment to loving the deal. And then logically, we already know that logically we're going to make the connection in the negotiation to why it has to be this way, why the numbers fit. Because, well, we look at repair costs, and I'm going to have to come in, licensed, certified contractor. I'm not swinging hammers, and, you know, it's a little bit more work. Logically, we're going to make that happen. But emotionally, right, we have to make a connection of what they're going to do with the money. It's got to be spent in their mind, right?
Yep.
And so uncovering that is getting the love the offer logically and emotionally, right? If somebody just loves something emotionally, but logically it doesn't make sense, what happens is you make the sale, but then you get buyer's remorse, right? You stay up late night, you know, watching QVC, and the next morning it was like, yo, what was I doing? Man, I didn't need no freaking, you know, $80 toaster. I'm sending this back. Like, you just made an emotional buy, and logically it didn't make sense whatsoever. If you do logic only, you don't get buyer's remorse because you never make the sale. If it's logic only, you don't make the sale. If it's emotion only, you make the sale, but they get buyer's remorse, and then you get returns and chargebacks, all that kind of stuff. So you have to have both logic and emotion. On a scale of 1 to 10, you can just feel it. 10, they love the offer. Logically and emotionally, it makes sense to them. Cool, I got one of the 3 10s down, all right? Number 2 is they trust and connect with you consciously and unconsciously. And this all goes back to the whole part we talked on in the front part is called in building that rapport, right? Consciously, they like you from the human element, and unconsciously, they trust you and they believe you as an expert. You have that expert rapport, not just the human rapport. You have the expert rapport. It's like, this person's sharp. They Johnny on the spot. When they got on the phone, you know, and they, you know, went through that script. Of course, they don't know it was a script, but when they got on the phone, they were sharp, right? You ever just encounter some people in any type of sales or professional environment? It's like, yo, they just sharp as a tack. You want to do business with that person, right? The person who just own it. You know, they walk upright, heads up, the chest back. You know, they speak a little more assertively. You know, they just boom, 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 Johnny on the spot. It exudes what? Confidence in you. Going back to that, right? You're willing to confide more because they gave you confidence. Confidence is not just something you have, it's something also that you give. So giving confidence makes them like you, love you unconsciously. And then consciously, the human element, just knowing how to, you know, be relatable and deal with people, boom. All right? You'll feel it on a scale of 1 to 10. Hey, listen, I know it's me. I know they rocking with me, right? And then number 3, the third area, and this one doesn't almost fits with the second area. It really does in most scenarios is on a scale of 1 to 10, they have to trust and connect with your company. All right, trust and connect with your company. So for most everybody here, probably everybody here, your company is you. Because if you were a sales person in another environment, they might want and need your product, you know, emotionally and logically. They might trust and connect with you logically, I mean, consciously and unconsciously, but your company don't have the best reputation. You don't make the sale, right? But fortunately for in this arena, you and your company are synonymous. So if they trust and connect with you consciously and unconsciously, they also trust and connect with your company consciously and unconsciously, because you're not representing some other company. If you're representing some other company, then that would be a third factor that you have to get to a 10. They got to feel solid about the company. So if you have a 10, they want and need your product, and they love it on an emotional and a logical level. They love the deal emotionally and logically. They spent the money. The numbers make sense. They trust and connect with you. consciously and unconsciously. And of course, by default, they trust and connect with your company consciously and unconsciously. You're doing your business right. You like your paperwork, you're Johnny on the spot with it. So they're like, yo, I trust and connect with you. And I can tell your business on your business end, like I trust and connect with that consciously and unconsciously. It's all on point. When all those areas are lined up in a 10, and you will feel this, you will sense this. Once you know, now that you know going in, I just need a 10 in these 3 areas. Now that you're looking for and identifying it, you'll be able to tell, oh, you know, I could tell they're good with me. They're not feeling quite right about these numbers yet. They're not feeling quite right logically about the deal. So I know I need to focus all my energy on getting their belief to a 10 on the logic of the deal. Or the logic of the deal makes sense to them, but emotionally like, yo, but that's just really not the amount of money that I wanted. I gotta emotionally make them feel good about it. I don't need to work on, well, let me turn on some more charms so they like me. I know it's a 10 there. Are y'all seeing the power in knowing just clearly, I just need 10 in these areas? And here's the deal. It only happens in a moment. 10 only happens in a moment, right? Some of you all are convinced of what I'm saying right now. Like, man, y'all are taking notes. And you're like, yo, this is good stuff, right? You're convinced right now in this moment because I'm talking to you. But guess what? Tomorrow you'll be less convinced. Tomorrow when you get on the phone with somebody and you try a little technique and like, yo, it didn't quite go the way that, you know, I thought it was based on, man, I took all the notes. I was applying stuff. And something happens, you'll be less convinced tomorrow than you are right now. Right now, you're convinced in this moment. But once you get convinced over and over and over and over again, then it goes from being convinced to being a conviction. But you don't need to be a conviction to close the deal. I just need you to be convinced in a moment. And in that moment, that's when you go in for the sale. That's when you go in for the close, where you put the hand out, palm up, and in that moment. And if you could tell that the person has the 3 10s established, and that's when you go in to close the deal, you don't talk yourself out of a sale. Don't sell when sold. Don't sell when sold. You could tell a person is a 10, 10, 10, stop selling, go for the close, all right?
Yep.
And if they're a 10, 10, 10, you have a very high probability of converting that and collecting a positive decision, all right? And if for some reason you could tell they're a 10, 10, 10, and they don't give you a positive decision, then they just have some limited buying belief, some illogical, well, hey, I just don't make decisions on the first, appointment, right? Like you came there, set the appointment, and they like, yo, everything makes sense. I like and trust you, consciously, unconsciously. I love the deal logically and emotionally. I trust the company, which is you, consciously and unconsciously. I'm ready to, it makes everything is perfect. I just don't do stuff on the first appointment, right? There's some type of limited buying belief. What I do is I use simple language. It's called looping, right? Jordan Belfort, elaborates on this more straight line, but use simple language, like kindergarten level stuff to help them understand that this is a limited buying belief. I circle back, reestablish the 3 10s, and then you go for the close again. It works like a charm. Something as simple as, hey, let me level with you, Tommy. I mean, if you were drowning in the middle of the ocean and I threw you a life raft, would you grab onto it? Well, yeah, of course I would. Yeah. Hey, so why don't you let me help you in this situation? Let's get this thing done. Right? Like I've used that right there for somebody who literally came out to a presentation I was doing and something sales related. They said, and I could tell they liked me. I could tell everything made sense. I could tell I had the 3 10s established, and I said, hey, so what's in your back of your mind? Well, we just didn't come here to make a decision. I mean, we just came here to get. We didn't come here with the intentions of buying. We came here to evaluate. I mean, everything makes sense, but the reason we're not buying is because we didn't come with the intention to buy.
Yeah.
And I use that as same language, and we close the situation. So those are the 3 10s.
So you can also with that exact, because I've gotten that before. But you can handle that. Remember what James said in the very beginning. Some of the best ways to handle objections is to handle them before they become objections. So you can handle that from the very beginning, before you get on that appointment, because obviously we've transitioned from the phone call appointment to the actual in-person appointment when we're going for the close and trying to get the contract signed. We can just tell them while we're on the phone, hey, if everything works out and you like what this is a win-win situation for everyone involved, are you prepared to move forward? I don't like to say contract. I don't like to make it sound very formalized. I just want to make sure that they're prepared, and all the decisions makers are going to be available to maybe do this paperwork, right? I like to use that phrase. Let's get this paperwork done, right? So you can tell them, hey, this is the expectation of this encounter that we're going to have once we meet on whatever day, that we're going to actually get this thing done. So that way you can circle back to that and say, hey, well, James, man, when I was on the phone with you, we talked about it. We said this is a win-win situation. I mean, we obviously like the offer. You actually obviously we're connecting here. What's holding you back? Because when I talked to you on the phone, I told you we were prepared to move forward today, and you can kind of get around that objection from there as well.
Absolutely. Hey, so listen, I mean, I didn't know that I was gonna go like this, man. But I'm fired up. I hope it's valuable to y'all. Let me close out with this, and I will stay after and answer a couple questions, if you want me to, Tommy. But let me close with this. A couple nuggets to that point right there is in handling objections as well, because even when you do everything right, what this does is it mitigates and minimizes the amount of objections. They still come up, right? Even when you do it, you just have them less often, all right? So everybody gets objection. Here's the thing. If you're getting the same objection over and over, that's an indication that you're doing something wrong, right? If that's always your objection that you always get, then you're probably not setting the expectation for them. But it might still come up here and there, right? And so these are great ways to handle it. And then to humanize as well, one of the things I like to do is if I just feel stuck with a prospect and I built that rapport, right, throughout the process, I just say, hey, listen, just level with me, Tommy. I feel like we're stuck here, and I'm doing the best I can. I want to help solve this problem, but just talk to me as if we were best friends, right? If we were best friends, what would you tell me that I need to do to help, help us get this thing done for you?
I like that.
Right?
I'm stealing that. I'm not even giving you credit. I'm stealing that.
I'm glad this recorded. Y'all know where you got it from, right? Right? If we were best friends, like, what would you tell me? And then here's another thing I like to deal with as well is if I'm going to deal with an objection, I like to make sure I'm dealing with the right objection. Because sometimes people have an objection and they don't want to share it with you. They're hiding it. And so they give you an objection that they think is going to let them off the hook. Right? So even though you told them, hey, make sure that any other, decision maker, is there, maybe they have some objection and they don't really want to tell you what it is, but they feel like they're telling you, oh, why do you talk to my wife? It's going to let them off the hook to get out of the encounter. Before I start dealing with, well, hey, I told you on the, we said over the phone, well, can we call her? And I'm trying to solve that objection. That might not even be the real objection, right? So my technique that I use to make sure before I start dealing with an objection that I have the actual objection, and I'm not wasting my time dealing with an objection that's fake, is whenever I get an objection, I stay super calm, right? No matter what it is. And it's just so simple, right? It works like a charm every single time, right? So Tommy, give me an objection, man. Hey, so yeah,
man. I just like, I don't make same day decisions. I like to sleep on it and just, think about it overnight.
Okay, cool. Hey, no sweat. Outside of that, what else in the back of your mind? Anything else in the back of your mind? All right, that phrase right there. Hey, oh, cool, no problem, no sweat. By me staying calm, this is sending a signal to him that what he's saying is really not a problem for me. Yeah. Right? If I start to immediately go into that, then he think, okay, cool, I'm good. I got him on this objection. He gonna fight with me on this. But if I stay calm on that, like, oh, well, he was way too calm. Clearly, he has some type of solution to that. Oh, snap, I better tell him my actual objection, right? So I stay calm and I say, hey, okay, cool. Hey, no sweat. Aside from that, anything else in the back of your mind? When I do that, if that was his real objection, was that the minute buying belief of, hey, I just don't do stuff on the same day, then he'll stick with it. They'll say, no, not good. I mean, I just don't like doing stuff on the same day. But let's say his real objection was, even though I told him to have his wife there, he was supposed to have his wife there, and he didn't, right? Let's say that was the real objection. And I stay calm, and I say, hey, oh, okay, cool. You don't like doing stuff on the same day, but I mean, hey, no sweat. Aside from that, anything else in the back of your mind? Well, I mean, I kind of I do need to run this by. Like he's going to reveal his cards on what the real objection is, and I'll continue to do that until they don't say anything else. So I'm like, okay, all right, and aside from that, anything else in the back of your mind? aside from that, anything else in the back of your mind. Stay calm. Aside from that, is anything else in the back of your mind, you'll eventually get to the real objection, all the objections. That way, before we start diving into dealing with objections, we know we're dealing with the right thing. So those are things that are going to help you build rapport. Those things are going to help you close more. Appreciate it again, Tommy, for you having me on. Hope it was some tremendous value to help you all go out there and close some more deals or collect some more positive decisions. And yeah, man, I'll stick around a little bit if you want me to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Number one, thank you again for coming on here. Guys, listen, what we said before, from the very beginning of this, these coaching calls are not designed to make you wholesalers. These coaching calls are to make you businessmen and businesswomen, and eventually business owners, right? Because that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to become business owners, which means the business is working for us, whether or not we're working on it or not. So getting stuff like this that's at surface level is not real estate related. We're not talking about ARVs. We're not talking about repairs. Doing stuff like this this is the difference between getting a wholesale deal and having wholesale businesses, right? Having multiple deals going on at the same time, being able to learn this stuff, because eventually these are all things that you're going to pick up, whether or not you're picking up and you're writing, notes and you're writing, everything out, or if you're just absorbing this stuff and you listen to it over and over again. Eventually, if you guys do enough business, you're going to have a team. You're going to be able to have to instruct this stuff to your team. So if you guys have questions now, I want you guys to really think about, I want you to take action and ask these questions. I know a lot of times, I applaud you, Cleon, for coming on and doing and taking that first step. But a lot of times we wait for someone else to ask the question. We want to see if some of our old faithfuls like Ali will ask a question. He don't care. Ali's gonna ask a question. If he don't know something, he gonna hop up there. But a lot of times we wait till 4 or 5 people ask questions before we ask our questions. So this is your time right now. You're thinking about something. Ask your question now. You got the man here now. Ask it directly and let's get this thing going.
I got one.
There you go. I told you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, James. So I got a question. I had a conversation with a guy, and I talked to Tommy about this before. I had a conversation with a guy on a million some odd dollar deal, and in the call, he hesitated. He ended up getting off the phone and coming back. But since that time, I've had a hard time trying to get a hold of him. And I think his hesitation is he's going through a bunch of stuff. His properties, he's got 2 different properties. Both of them are pretty much bleeding him dry slowly. So based off the conversation that you just had with us, you were kind of saying I'm thinking the next time I need to get on the phone with him and just going aggressively. How do you know when to take that shot with somebody who kind of, stretches out the situation? So instead of a 5-minute conversation, it ends up going over 4 or 5 days as follow-up.
Okay, so the question is, how do I deal with a situation where somebody stretches out the follow-up over a long period of time instead of a short period of time?
Right, more or less. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So generally speaking, in business, right? I love how Tommy said that this is to make, everyone business owners, and it's not just about, wholesaling, but generally speaking, in business, the bigger the deal, the more contacts, the more conversations, the more in-depth you have to go with something. That's usually just the nature of business, right?
Okay.
If we're selling Snickers bars, the transaction is not too much back and forth,
Right.
I was going into, this event at a church. One of the kids came up, hey, I'm selling candy for the school. Like, how much are they? $1 each. All right, I got 2 singles on me. Let me get 2. Like, that was the amount of back and forth needed.
Right. That's it. Right.
It's $1, right? So that some of that is the nature. And so here's what professionals do in following up is, 1, condense the time frames. Understanding that I'm looking to establish, 3 10s. So if I come after the encounter with you, I'm like, I think I got my man to a 7, right? He's starting to like me a little bit more, trust me a little bit more, and the deal is making sense. Remember, like, you're convinced today, you'll be less convinced about this training tomorrow. He's at a 7 today. He'll be less of a 7 tomorrow. So I need to get back in contact with him soon and take him from a 7 to an 8.5. And I need to get back with him again soon to take him from the 8.5 to the 9.5, and then from the 9.5 to the 10. I need to condense the time frames of follow-up. And then also the elite, the professionals go from encounter to encounter without the loss of enthusiasm. Right? So you gotta bring that same energy, you know, you gotta bring that same energy each and every time that you encounter him. That's helping you, you know, push the ball forward. And then of course, again, making sure that you're uncovering, you know, what the real thing is.
But if they disappear, you're basically starting from scratch again. Is it just?
And then I understand. So, you know, 4 agreements, just a personal development thing. Like, don't take anything personally. We really don't know what is going on. There have been situations where I've had somebody, you know, look at a follow with me, and like I was legit interested, and I had some stuff going on that just my priorities changed for a moment, but I'm like, yo, I need to get back with them once, you know, I take care of some things that just jumped up in priority. Right. So, you know, I generally don't talk about like negative stuff that happened until I'm like through it. And so it could be a testimony. Like for me, the month of July, one, I did the most traveling I've ever done in my schedule. And in the midst of that, my car I had to get car maintenance 3 different times. So I was only home for a limited amount of days in July. And every time I was home, I was taking a vehicle to the shop. My house got broken into. All of my children got sick. Let's see. All my children got sick. My house got broken into. My car was in the shop. Oh, my AC at my home air conditioner went out twice. The hot water heater, you know, messed up. Y'all probably think I live in like a shack or something. I promise you it's not a situation. Like, I had a whole bunch of stuff happen in July. Wow. But guess what? Okay. I had somebody that's trying to, you know, like sell some financial products to me. Right. So they like, it ain't had nothing to do with them. Ain't had nothing to do with them while I wasn't getting back with them. Right. So you just really don't, you really don't know. And so the fortune to follow up those charts we see, you know, the average sale is made on the 5th to 7th call, but the average salesperson only, you know, follows up once or twice or whatever the case. Right. That's part of it too. So those are, you know, things I was saying.
Cool. Awesome. Appreciate it, Jay. Thanks, man.
We got somebody said, I don't know who owner's iPhone is, so sorry if I'm not referring to you by name, but it said, what will be the first step for someone who is just getting started? Are you talking about with wholesaling? Are you talking about with sales? What do you, owners, I don't even see you anymore. Oh, there you go. I see your screen. But if you can take yourself off mute, you can just ask the question directly. Owner's iPhone. I like it. There you go. Let me see. All right, you're off mute now.
Hi, this is Danielle.
Hey, Danielle.
That was me that asked the question. I'm like fresh, and just getting introduced to wholesaling. So, I mean, like just starting. Like, what would be like the first step that I would take?
So let's look at it like this. This is a good question. I get this question a lot. You want to be a doctor? What would be the first step to become a doctor? Well, obviously, we got to get through bachelor school, right? We got to get our bachelor first, right? We got to get some type of education. I don't even know what a femur bone is, where it's at in the body, let alone, but I want to be a doctor, right? So it's kind of like the same thing. If you want to be anything, we have to, you know, have a basis of understanding. We have to have a foundation of where to start from. And so I would honestly say the first thing is to get through the course. So you can just have, because there's questions that you don't even know to ask yet, right? Yeah. Just because you haven't been through it. And so I get this question all the time. What will be the first thing to tell you to do? And it's really the first thing is just to understand what wholesaling is and get through a program. Because once you do that, then you can, that's like, a lot of people think, oh, I got through the course. Like James said, you go through it a couple of times, right? You need to go through it over and over again. You get through the course. There's still things that I've said that you probably didn't pick up on, right? That you need to go back and read. So honestly, the very, very first thing would be to at least have an understanding of what really wholesaling is and how to work through the numbers and really feel good with that information first.
Got it.
That's really the basics. I know that's probably not the answer you want to hear, but that's the honest truth.
No, that's fine.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, cool. Hold on. I see. Milan. Yeah, he's Milan. Mullen, right?
Mullen.
Mullen. So I'd be wanting to call you Milan or something like that, like you from Disney
I'm
Channel.
gonna change it to Mo. That's what everybody calls me at work.
Now on.
It's all good though. It's all good. So like I'm a sales rep. So I'm really trying to like relearn this stuff like from like ground zero. But like in the sales interactions that I have every day, my physicians or my customers, they know, like they expect me to like sell them a pacemaker, defibrillator, or if I'm going to talk to a patient, they know what to expect from me. Like doing cold calls is like a little bit like different in that, you know, like a lot of people pick up the phone like irritated, like when like you're doing cold calls. And I know it's probably just gonna be like repetition and everything else, but like when you're going from like face-to-face calls and like you're starting like off from like doing cold calls, like how do you like shift like mindsets, I guess?
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
So I don't know if there's a great deal of shift of mindset when it comes to face-to-face versus in person. I think it could be kind of just different for the person and temperament maybe. To me, over the phone is a little bit more difficult because my temperament, I'm extroverted. I'm a driver as well as a person who, you know, draws energy and like being around people as well. So I always say it this way: it's with people being rude, right? Like on social media, you know what I'm saying? Like you be posting, you get into a little disagreement with somebody. You know, where you live, Mo?
I'm in Orlando.
You in Orlando, you might be arguing with somebody who's over in Seattle. And they be like, yo, say it again, pull up. Like, bro, you in Seattle, you know what I'm saying? Why? Because the aesthetic distance distance is so far, it's social, we typing, I can be ruder. So somebody's more likely to hang the phone up on you than to slam a door in your face.
Yeah.
So to me, if I get in front of you, yo, like, I feel better about it. But for some other people, it may be different. But
I mean, like,
in terms
from a standpoint, like someone being rude to me, like I've had like customers like calling me like stupid, idiot, you know, like 4-letter words and everything else because like in the middle of a procedure, you know, like they got sphincter reflex going on. They got a patient on the table. They don't know what the hell is going on. You know, they just trying to get stuff. They're just trying to get through the procedure. And then like right after, it's like, all right, we good, we buddy. But like, some of these times, like people might like they'll hang up the phone on you or whatever, and then next thing you know, they're calling you back the next day. Were you really serious about trying to sell me that buy my property?
Yeah. So some of that might happen, but I'll tell you this: if it's happening frequently, it's an indication that you're doing something wrong. So evaluating all your calls whenever I'm in a new arena, particularly when I was just new to sales. Period.
Okay.
Every single interaction, I didn't pick up the phone and make the next call. I got off, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? I evaluated the situation. And I'm telling you, with this script that Tommy has you for setting the appointment, I promise, nail that opening. Okay. Nail that opening. I've been on these calls a couple of times. I've seen some people, do the role play. Again, this ain't picking on Cleon, but like even there, right? Like he came in the opening and he right off the bat, he opened himself up to just get, to get ate up. And so I've seen, he ain't the only one. I've seen other people, do it on other calls as well. Nail that opening and know it's muscle memory. Nobody is a natural. Even though my temperament is more, inclined to sales. When I first started selling, I was nervous on the phone. My voice was cracking. Like I'm going through puberty again. I heard on the CD once, like I used to kick my wife out doing, get out. I got to make calls. Like heart rate increasing. All of the funny stuff, and people are like, "Yo, they hear me now. You're a natural." Like, no, you didn't. Yeah. You see a further developed person. I heard on the CD once, "Hey, put some pots and pans, on the edge of the counter, and that way, if the car is going crazy, you just knock stuff over, and it'll be this loud commotion, and you be like, oh, hey, I gotta go." Right? I was like, man, that's genius, right? Like everybody starts somewhere. Everybody deals with those nerves and goes through that, but it's the repetition. Practice makes permanent. So it probably don't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Practice just makes permanent. So if you're practicing the wrong thing the wrong way, it's going to be permanently wrong. But nail that script the right way over and over in repetition, and eventually it's going to be muscle memory.
Plus, real quick, and because we're going to move on to, I see you guys, a couple people got their hands up. Mo, having the right expectation is huge, right? Just understand that what you're doing in a hospital, right? In a hospital setting or wherever I'm assuming it's at a hospital, right?
Yeah, I sell pacemakers and defibs.
All right, I was figuring that. I hope you weren't trying to sell pacemakers on the street. That'd be a little weird. But
only in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, you got to understand there's a difference there, right? They're in a hospital. They need a pacemaker, obviously.
Yeah, like there's like a clear expectation, like that's what you're gonna do.
Correct. But here, understand, I want to set an expectation with you. You call 100 people, 70 of those people are going to hang up on your face, or 70 of them are going to curse you out. They're not going to want, some of them are going to be rude. Some of them are going to be kind of rude. Some of them are not going to be rude and just hang up on you, right? You got to under like 70 out of 100 of those people are going to do it. There's only about 30% that are going to give you the time of day where you can start to actually talk with them, right? And then out of those 30, you're only going to get about 10 of them that you're going to be able to really get an appointment set. So if you understand, so if you don't understand that, when you go into it, you're thinking that, oh man, I must be doing something wrong. This gotta be, I'm messing up. It's like, you just don't know the averages yet, right? You just don't know the numbers. Once you understand, once you've called hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, you'll realize, oh, this is about right. I'm doing all right.
Got it.
Cool. Denard, what's up?
What's going on, Tommy? What's going on, James?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Oh, I got a question for James. I'm one of those persons. I'm real good at like persuading people to do things, but I kind of don't know when to like stop selling. Like you say, like somebody may not say yes, but I could like I may convince them, but they don't say yeah. I want to know like how do you know when to basically be quiet and shut up?
All right. Well, the first question that I have based off what you said is, are you asking for this? Are you going for the close? Are you going for collecting the decision?
Yeah, like I think like sometimes, I'm going for the close, but I think sometimes I overtalk. I may oversell, like you say, like I don't know when to. I keep selling after it's done.
If you think you do, you probably do.
Right.
If you think you're talking, you probably do.
Right, I want to know like what. Like say somebody don't say yes, but like I could tell. I mean they agree, but they don't say yeah. Like how do I tell to be quiet? Like how do I know when to?
So they don't.
That makes sense.
So on the close, they should be the next one to talk. So explain the situation how they say yeah, they agree, but they don't say yes. Like, are you asking a definitive? Are you putting a definitive? Hey, let's make this happen.
I wasn't even just speaking in like wholesaling. I was just speaking like in just regular day, like everything. Well, like sometimes I kind of like I actually never I'm kind of new too. I actually never like got an appointment to the point where I was like, well, they said yeah to the appointment stuff. So I'm just talking about like in everyday like selling and how to know when somebody's convinced, but they haven't said,
Got it. So that gives me a little bit more perspective. So here's the thing that I find with people who are new in sales oftentimes is the presentation element of sales we're comfortable with, but the close part of it, where it's like actually time to ask for the business or ask for the next step, ask for the appointment, ask for signing the agreement or paperwork. Like we were comfortable up until that point, and then it gets a little awkward. Does anybody feel this way? Like I was good up until this point, and then like okay, now it's time to ask for the sale, and right. Understand that you're like really embrace. It's got to be internal that you are solving a problem, and a lot of times people want what you have. They just don't know how to get it. Like they don't know the process. Like they want to buy, but they don't know how to buy. Right? They want to set the appointment, but they don't know that they've never put their house up, for wholesaling in this situation. You're the expert, and so nothing is more almost comical than the salesperson who wants to close but doesn't know how to, and the buyer who wants to buy but they don't know how to, right? So now y'all are dancing around each other, and you a lot of times you create needless follow-up. Like you see people in sales in situations like everything's going great and they should definitely go in for a close, but they're scared to ask for a close because here's the avoidance behavior. A lot of times, really, you just don't want to hear no, right? So it's like, man, you could tell this appointment went great. And it's that moment where I should close, but that feels awkward. Hey, so this looks good. So listen, I'll leave a brochure and we'll follow up. And the person, they just like, oh, okay. I guess that's the process. I don't know how to buy this. I've never purchased this before. So if it's a brochure and we're supposed to follow up, I guess that's the thing. They want to buy. They don't know how. You want to close, you don't know how. So like you gotta start going for it, right? And understand it. Now that you understand those 3 10s, you should know now after this call what to look for. And you should be able to you'll feel it more of they trust me, they like the offer, set the appointment. Or they trust me, they like the offer, get the agreement signed, right? And then stop talking. Don't sell when sold. So go in for it and close it out.
Denard, let me touch on that real quick because I had that problem, right? I had that problem. And so I just need you to change what you're thinking about, just real quick, right? So what I need you to do is instead of it's time for us to get the contract signed, right? So I know I need to get this contract signed in order to solve their problem. So instead of me asking them to sign a contract, I'll ask them, are we ready to move forward with solving this problem? So the outcome is the same, but I'm asking a different question that makes it, I'm helping them, right? It goes from, hey, can I get your house under contract for this price to are we ready to move forward to solve this problem, right? Because once we do that, solving the problem requires them to sign the contract. Does that make sense?
Okay, I got you.
By them agreeing to that they're ready to move forward, they also have to understand in order to move forward that we need to sign this contract. So when we're doing sales, like I said, it's really the selling is really not, it's not that we're selling a certain product, really we're selling a solution, and we're the solution. So if we're the solution, we're selling ourselves. But after we've gotten to that point, once we've sold ourselves, like James said, we're a 10, they like us, right? Now it's all about solving that problem. So asking, hey, let's move forward so we get this problem solved. You ready to move forward so we can solve this for you?
Okay.
All right. I'm just sliding across the paperwork, and then I'm literally at that point, all I'm doing is going through the contract. Hey, this is self-explanatory. Like I know the contract, right? This is self-explanatory up here. This is where we put your name. This is where we put the property. This is called the PIN number, which stands for the portfolio identification number. Like then I just move right into that point, and at the bottom, this is what I say. You guys can use this, right? So at the bottom, after I've gone through all the contracts, right? I say this is what I'm doing. This is what we're going to pay. This is what we're covering. We're covering all the closing costs. I'm hitting all those key points, all the things that they are already sold on, right? This is the word track that I use. I say, okay, here I am. I literally do this while I'm talking to them, but I'm actually signing my signature, right? I'll say, so okay, here's where I'm signing, saying that I'm going to do everything that I said I was going to do throughout this contract. Boom. All right, here's where I said I'm giving you my word, and right here is where I'm going to say. Here's where you're going to put your signature saying that you're going to handle your end, and then problem solved. And I slide that paper over to them with the pen, and I shut up. All right? Because how could you say no? Hey, here's where I'm saying I'm doing everything that I promised to you. All I need you to do is follow through on your end. Right? As a man, as a woman, as a grown adult, that's like almost like, nah, I'm not going to do. Like basically what you're saying, if you don't sign, you're just basically saying, no, I'm not going to do everything that I said I was going to do. You see what I'm doing there, right? I'm saying, listen, I'm doing this. I'm giving you my word. Are you going to give me your word? It's a different question, right? It's not, are you going to sell me the house? It's, are you going to give me your word? You get what I'm saying? So that makes it easier to move for that sale. When you're not asking for the sale, you're just asking, hey, do you want me to solve this problem for you?
So you basically kind of like holding them accountable of what they already said, and
yeah, on the signature part, but the transition. So everything, like even in speaking, right? Even in speaking, it's all about transitions. All right, we have a beginning, then we have a middle part, and then we have a transition where it takes a turn in the conversation. All right, or it takes a turn in the posture of what's going on. Right, so. What's happening is that you feel really good. You've sold them. You know that they like you. Everything's going good. And you're just scared to make that transition into the part where the business needs to get done. Because you got down the relationship portion. Now it's time to get back to the business, right? And so the business is the contract. And so you're having a hard time transitioning from, okay, they like me, to let's get the business done. And so instead of thinking about it in that direction, in that regards, think about it as, hey, I'm just going from they like me, and since they like me, they want me to help solve this problem. So do you want me to solve your problem? Are you ready to get this problem solved? It's just asking a different question. You understand what I'm saying? I really want you to make sure you understand that.
Right. I get what you're saying. Like you basically saying you just Instead, you're not like upfront asking them, you convincing them that you solving the problem for them. Instead of like saying, hey, let's go ahead with the sale. You saying let's go home with me solving the problem.
Correct.
Right, I got
you. Yeah, your problem, if you're like me, your problem was asking for them to sign the contract. Like the words, hey, can you go sign the contract? Let's sign the contract. That part was difficult for me to come out of my mouth. Right. So in order for me to get around that, I had to kind of rethink, okay, I need him to sign the contract, but I just need him to get to this next phase, which is going through the contract, right? They're not going to sign the contract without going through it. So I need to handle that first. And then at the end, it's a simple, I'm signing the contract. Now I'm signing in front of you, give you my word saying I'm going to do this, this, and that. Are you going to give me your word?
Tommy, you said something key in there that I think is going to help everybody overall is the next phase. Professional salespeople look at every step in the process as just the next step in the process. So there's no major decision at any point because I'm not looking to, I got a touchback, I got the ball on the 25-yard line. I'm not looking to throw a 75-yard touchdown. I'm moving the ball down the field. And then we got first and goal from the 3. Dumb to get in for the touchdown. But it was the drive the whole way. So it's never any major thing that has to be done. And so music to a prospect's ear is the next step is. Because remember, you're solving their problem. A lot of these people want to close the deal. They want to buy, right? Or in this case, sell, but you get what I'm saying. They want to buy. They just don't know how. So when you say, okay, no, I had it the 3 10s, right? Hey, so the next step is for us to move forward to solve this problem. The next step is, right, for us to move forward. The next step is, just a little bit of paperwork, the agreement, however. But the next step is music to their ears. The next step is, the next step is, the next step is. And I love that. I love that. It's beautiful. Talk about, hey, in order for us to solve the problem, the next step, put them together, right?
Yeah.
But in order for us to solve the problem, the next step is, it's just the next step. Now it's not really like a close.
Let me walk you through the paperwork. The next step is, let me walk you through the paperwork. Hey, and it's easy because up front, all we're talking about is just general items. We're talking about the address of the property. We're talking about their name. Those are easy. What I want you to do is, and James, you notice the psychology of selling, right? You get people in the habit of saying yes, right? You get people in the habit of saying yes. They just and nod your head, right? Like they'll just mimic you. They'll just start to say yes, right? And that's what we want. We just want to walk them through the easy phases. The hard part is them signing to everything, right? So we don't start off with the hard part. The next step is, let me make sure this is the right address, correct? 123 Main Street. Oh, okay, perfect. And next thing you know, you're in the contract, right?
That whole thing you had, I was even throughout the whole training, I was getting everybody. It made sense. Yep. So as you're going through, looking at the property, asking, hey, so one of the things, does it make sense?
Makes sense,
right? And I was smiling and shaking my head. It's hard for you to be like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So you're doing that the whole way, the whole time, and then next step is coupled with, to move forward and solve your problem. Oh, that's a powerful combination right there. Put that in the course, Tommy.
No, right? I should have put that in the course. But yeah, practice. Hey, good time. Practice with your loved ones. Practice with your spouse. Practice with your girlfriend, boyfriend. Right? Practice with people doing this. Don't let the first time you're doing this to be on the phone with someone. Right?
Okay, I got you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Courtney, where you at? Oops. There you go.
Can you hear me?
I got you now.
Okay, I think that you already, both of you all kind of touched on this a little bit, but one of the issues that I'm having is, I guess, talking to a potential seller and them getting way off track and start talking about, their life issues, their previous situation, stuff like that. And I'm trying to figure out how to tie it back to business. So I find myself on a phone call, for an hour talking about something that has nothing to do with the property. So I'm just trying to figure out how to kind of draw it back to the deal itself without spending so much time on the phone.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I do is you have to, conversations are all about give and take, right? It's like, I like to, that's why I asked that question in the beginning, do you have a moment to chat, right? Number one, it sounds very informal, but that's a give, right? Because they could say, no, I can't control that portion, right? But I like to give where I know I don't have control, right? So if I want to talk to you, Courtney, and right now, just like you're running late, you're about to hop in the shower because you're already 20 minutes late and you still got to get in the shower to run out the house. I can't control that, right? You're going to tell me, hey, listen, I would love to talk to you, but I can't, I got to go. And you're going to hang up, right? So where I know I don't have control, I like to give the option or the illusion that I'm relinquishing control. But when I do have control, I want to go ahead and take hold of that. So the transition of this is like when we're talking about like your son, right? Your stepson, right? Doesn't he play football or something like that, Courtney?
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking about, him playing football, and you're going on and on, right? About him playing football, and he scored, 7,000 touchdowns in the last game. And Courtney, man, my son, he just started playing baseball. I know how it is. I could talk about him. He did a little hit the other day, and I got so excited. I almost ran on the field. I could talk about that all day long. But listen, I understand. I know your time is valuable. I know your time is worth a lot, and you probably want to get back to spending your time with your son. So if you don't mind, you mind telling me a little bit about 123 Main Street? So I took back control because right now Courtney got all the control because she's just talking about her son playing football, right? But at some point, I have to grab control back to get us back on course. So that's why I talk about that 5-minute fix, right? That 5 minutes, like I want to spend about 5 minutes or so building that rapport, talking about those things, right? Because that's what I really need. Beyond that, I really don't like, you can, especially you get one of them old people, like Hattie, if you get Hattie on the phone and she'd start talking about her grandbabies, first of all, anybody say grandbabies, you're going to be on the phone for a minute. I promise you, you're going to be on the phone for like my grandbabies. They say that you're on the phone forever. Like, so you gotta reel them back in. Right? So that's the easy way to do that. It's just like, listen, I know your time. What does that say? I know your time is valuable. What does that mean? That also implies, hey, my time is valuable too, right? I can't be on here all day talking about your kids, right? So that's one thing that I use. I don't know if James, you got anything for that?
I know. I love that, man. I love the blaming yourself part of it. If I'm in I've been in a situation where I'm in appointments, in someone's home and they had a TV on and I don't want them watching the TV. I blame myself. I'm like, hey, oh man, you got to, listen, I'm gonna be watching this thing the whole time. You mind turning it off? Because I don't want to be distracted watching it. The truth is, I don't want you being distracted watching TV while I'm trying to, do this business, right? But I'm blaming myself. So, I think you hit spot on, man.
Can I cut in for a second?
Yeah.
I don't know if I understood Courtney's question different, but the way I heard it, it sounds like her potential leads are speaking of the property and the issues that may be the reason they want to get rid of the property and they just can't get off of it. Like they got this tenant that's been doing this. My grandson's been living there. He's not paying rent and blah, blah, blah. I got to get him evicted. That's how I heard it. I'm not sure if that's the same, but what you guys were saying was all right. But if they are talking in reference to the property or the struggles of the property, how do you kind of interject and break them from that?
Well, what she said.
Oh, go ahead.
My bad, James. What she said is like, and I don't know if she was exaggerating or not, or maybe just in common language we say, oh, we're on the phone for an hour. But when you tell me you're talking about your problems for an hour, like that's like how many problems you got that you can talk.
Like,
that's what I would get at. That's what I would get at is even if they were talking about the property and the problems, if it's for an hour, they're not giving you new information.
That's what I'm
saying.
So
even if they were, they're just being repetitive about the same. Like if I'm not getting now, if they give me new information, that might be letting me know, yo, this is I already know this ain't no deal. It's too much. If you got an hour's worth of stuff like obstacles with this thing, hour worth of different problems, I probably don't have no deal here, right? You know what I'm saying?
So Courtney, can you clarify that? What exactly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So far I've had 3 particular ladies, and I'm not exaggerating. one of the ladies had me on the phone for about an hour and a half. I swear I'm not exaggerating. And I didn't know how to kind of get off of the subject of her just kind of venting about some other things that had nothing to do with the property. Another lady that I was on the phone with for over an hour, I ended up getting the deal. So the deal is actually under contract now, and we've kind of built rapport, and she's actually looking for another property as well. So I just don't
on that one that ended up in a deal, an hour on the phone with her, were there differences between an hour on the phone with her and an hour on the phone with the other person?
Not really. I mean, they were talking about personal stuff. One was like really personal, and the other one was just, she was just telling me her life story, how she traveled around the world. And I happened to tell her I was in the Navy and I've been to a certain place. And then that opened the door for her to tell me all these places she's been around the world and how she got into real estate. And it just, you know, I ended up being on the phone for an hour, and I just don't want to be, you know, on the phone for over 30, 40 minutes talking to people.
Okay, so you can use what I was talking about there, because at that point it wasn't talking about the house. So what Cleo was talking about, if it was talking about the problems of the house, which obviously, you know, an hour definitely is too much, but 15, 20 minutes of them talking about problems with the house, I can rock with that. But use that transition. You were in the Navy, she was traveling. Hey, set the expectation of, man, let's finish this conversation when we meet at the property. Because if we're meeting at the property, that means she's there. Hopefully she's the decision maker. We can build a better rapport, and let's get that contract signed on the property. Give her something to look forward to when it comes to. And here's a great way, because this is going to answer another question that someone asked. I can't remember. I don't know if it was Ali or someone else asked, or Stan said something about how do you not get people like flaking out on you, right? I think it was Stan, right? So at the end, what I like to do is I'll say, hey, Courtney, you know, I'm gonna be driving about 45 minutes or so to your property, and I have no problem doing that. Nothing will make me happier than us to get together and we can finish talking about these travel stories. But can you just do me a favor, please? And I'll ask them, I'll make them say, well, what's the favor? Or I'll make them say, sure. If they say sure, they've already agreed to the favor, right? So can you do me a favor, please? What is it? Depends on what it is. Courtney, it's nothing big. It's just, you know, could you make me a promise that if anything comes up, listen, I understand things happen. We're both adults, things happen. If anything comes up, can you please just give me a call, let me know, so I don't drive 45 minutes out of my way, to make sure that, you know, we can get this thing done, and we can talk about your travel stories, the time you went to Budapest, and, you know, did whatever you tied back into your conversation, right? So my point is that all that's coming out in that rapport building, we're not just listening, we're actively listening. So utilize that information so you can come back to it, and you can circle back to it, and you can use it for closes like that, right? Because what I want you to do is I want you to set the expectation, like, man, she wants to come to this appointment so she can finish telling you about her trip to Budapest, right? At least you don't know that she's gonna go and sign that contract, right? But use whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's travel, doesn't matter if it's sports, it doesn't matter if it's dogs, if it's their green thumb, it doesn't matter what it is. Just use that information to circle back into getting on that appointment.
Okay. Yeah, I actually I kind of, you know, close it over the phone because she lives in New York. Okay. But it actually worked out over the phone. But perfect. But yeah, I just want to kind of avoid just being on the phone so much. For some reason, people want to tell me their whole life history. So, okay. But I got it.
Perfect. All right. Cleon, you said you good with that, Cleon? I think, are you frozen? Cleon might be frozen. All right, I think Cleon's frozen. Oh,
no, I'm back. I'm sorry. I was scrolling through some stuff. So I got a question about a possible deal.
Okay.
Okay. It is my sister-in-law's stepchildren's mother. All right. Okay. And I know more about the property, and I guess I should. So I don't know how to kind of approach her. It's a pre-foreclosure. They have to be out in 4 months. So I think I still have time to possibly get it. I know they've been in the property for about 8 years. I don't know any other standings of the property, but it should have at least that much equity in it. I guess I don't know how to kind of approach her with this.
Well, hold on 1 second, because I know I just want to say, first of all, thanks, James. James has to go. James, where can they find you at real quick? And I'll answer your question right after this, Cleon.
Appreciate you.
Oh, sure. Again, appreciate you, Tommy, man, for having me on. I hope everybody got value. I got some nuggets off here, man. Tommy, you know, you never disappoint in dropping jewels, man. So thank you again. Everybody, you can follow me on Instagram at Refined Masculinity. Professionally, I'm a salesperson, and my passion is to equip men with the character of strength and grace. So, you know, I really speak to men professionally as well as personally in a personal lives, whether it's health and fitness, relationships, family, career, and finance. I cover all those different things at Refined Masculinity on IG. Ladies, you can follow, of course, as well too. If you're single looking for a man, he might be, you know, one of the followers out there. If you're married, you know, let your husband, you know, let him know about it, make him follow as well. So thanks again for that, Tommy. I'll put that in the chat, and
Please do.
Y'all go out there and continue to tear it up, man. Y'all in a good spot.
Cool, man. Appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thanks, James.
All right. So, Cleon, so you know information about the property more than what you probably should. I know it's family, and that's the difficult part, right? Sometimes it's dealing with family. But you have to understand, they got 4 months. They got 4 months, and they're out. Like, no matter if it's family or not, 4 months, you got 4 months to help them, whether or not whether or not they want to know about, they want you to know about their personal business or not. You have to take it on just like if they were just another client, being professional, right? So you pull them, obviously you want to get just the decision makers, only the people that need to be in the room. And just talk candidly. Listen, this is what I do. Like, I've helped other people. You've had deals done. You got deals done before, right now? One deal. Okay. So I've helped another family before. I can help our own. I just need you guys to be upfront, honest with me. So I can help walk you through this process and provide a solution for this problem. Okay. And that solution might be, getting in contact with another lender. I don't know their issues. I don't know what their credit score is. I don't know what money they have, if they can refinance. I don't know any of that stuff, but I would go through those options first of how could they probably try to keep the house first, right? Then bring in the back end of, okay, well, if we figured out, if we've eliminated the ability, the options of keeping you in this property, let's at least get you some money in your pocket so that you can take you and your family, you can get into an apartment or you can get into the next house. Let's avoid the foreclosure. So instead of having to wait, 5, 6, 7 years before you can get another property and get another mortgage, let's avoid that step and get you some money in your pocket so we can, get you on the fast track to being homeowners again in the future. Future pace them. So get them thinking about, okay, man, if I allow this thing to happen, if they can't get it done, right? If they can't refinance, if they can't stay within the home, if we've eliminated those options, get them thinking about, okay, yeah, this sucks, but what does the future look like? It's going to happen. Like if they don't have the money to do it, it is what it is. It's just a fact of it. I've gone through a foreclosure. It sucks. I understand it, right? Comes to a point where like you just look up, you're like, I ain't got it. It's this foreclosure thing is going to happen. My family and I are going to be out on the street if I don't do something. And that's just the fact of the matter is. So once we've established that, let's get to business. Okay. And just take on that real professional role.
So they have an apartment lined up now. I was looking at it from a structured way of keeping them in the home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if subject to, I wasn't really, versed in what would be the best approach for that. But
so that would require a lot of information. I don't know if you want to put all that on our business on the call. But whether or not, if it was someone else that you don't know, I would say, yeah, just go ahead and, that's more up to you call. But you understand subject to is going to work if If the numbers on a wholesale deal don't work, and for family, they might not work, right? You might not want to make, $10,000 off your family. They might feel a little certain way about that, right? But you can tell them, listen, we have some other options. Maybe a subject to is an option where there's not enough space between the inequity where it makes sense to wholesale it or for it to make sense as a straight flip. Do you understand subject to, or you understand how that works?
A little bit. I did some research. I did some more research when I found out of this situation and kind of how much time they had left to see if that will be the best option. You know what I mean?
So this is what I'm gonna need, because I'm gonna get ready to go.
Like,
A little bit. I gotta hop in the shower and go to a movie. So this is what I'm gonna do. Get this information for me. Get their mortgage balance. We're gonna talk about this on Wednesday. What is today?
Sunday.
Yeah, we'll talk about this on Wednesday. Wednesday's coaching call. Okay. So I need their mortgage balance. I need to know how much they pay. I need to know how. You said they're 4 months, but what does that look like? What's the payoff? Okay. I need to know what the repairs are, how much it's going to cost to get back into HGTV standards, and then how much, what the ARV is, okay? What their mortgage balance is, how far they are behind, like what they need to catch up on. Like if it's $1,000 a month, does that include, PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance? Does that include all that stuff? Or I need to have all that information. I need to know how much it's going to cost to repairs to get it back to HGTV, what the ARV is, okay? And then once we have all that information, we'll do a whiteboard session so everybody can see it. So, and then we can determine whether or not it'll be a good subject to deal or wholesale deal or fix and flip deal.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I'm gonna go. I gotta get ready to go. Anybody seen that movie with the guy is I forgot his name. Don't Let Go. Don't Let Go. Y'all seen it? It's a good movie, Sharon.
Where his little sister dies or something.
Yeah, somebody died. Yeah. Okay, so one person said it was a good movie. That's what we're gonna go see. So missed it yesterday. We're gonna try to get to it today. All right. I think that covers everything. Make sure you guys listen. I ain't playing, man. I ain't playing. Don't make me show up at your house. Make sure you got your 25 properties for the end. Don't wait till the last week. The last call Sundays. Last call on the last Sunday of the month. We're doing just straight on the phone. Everybody's on the phone. Everybody's on the phone. And I want to see everybody's face. So y'all can't say I ain't told y'all this last 3 weeks now. Let's go ahead and we're going to force some people to step outside their comfort zone. Let's make some phone calls together. There's strength in numbers. I guarantee you, if you just trust me on this, you're going to see that when you can see everybody else and everybody else is on the phone, it's just going to be that much easier to pick up on the phone. I promise you. When you look up and you see Mona, and Mona's on the phone calling people, and you see Mike, and you see Jasmine, and you see Aisha, and they're all calling people, it's just going to be that much easier, Ali. I promise you it's going to be that much easier for you to pick up the phone, because you're going to be like, everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. And it's going to give you that much more confidence in making those phone calls. So let's make phone calls together. All right, let's make phone calls together at the end of this month. Last call Sundays. Let's get some deals popping. All right, everybody. I got something coming up for y'all, man. I got this traveling thing. Y'all put a couple dollars aside. We're gonna do a traveling wholesale and short-term rental seminar. But we're gonna do this thing. We're pulling some numbers. We're gonna be a vacation, a learning vacation. So we're gonna have we'll have about a year to pay for it. But instead of just paying, for a seminar and you're in some lousy hotel, we're gonna go to a destination. It's gonna be all inclusive, all your food, everything. I'm working. All right, we're gonna put this thing together. It's gonna be some crazy value. We'll have a whole bunch of fun. We'll do some outings together, but we're gonna spend a good 2 days just learning how to be better businessmen, businesswomen in the fields of wholesaling and short-term rentals. So it's going to be a seminar to go together, but it's going to be like a 4 or 5 day vacation as well. So mixed in there, we're going to have some business and pleasure. And the best part about it, it's a tax write-off. All right. So get that tax write-off too. We're going to freak this thing a couple different ways. Trust me, believe. We're going to make this thing happen. So, all right, y'all. Love you guys. Appreciate you being on the call. Thanks so much for rocking out with us. Y'all have a blessed one and good night. Peace.
Go Mob, bro.
Go Mob. They don't know what that means, Ali. They don't know. They ain't know.
They not fortunate enough to. That's not our fault. We gotta, we gotta put it out there. It is what it is.
What you throwing up, Agatha? What you throwing up over there? Okay.